All right, go ahead, people. Dr. Nicole McCarty here. Y'all, I'm back. Thank you. Hey, fam. How are you? Dr. Nicole McCarty here, and we're back. We are continuing the series of like our whole how we planned our scouting trip, what we did. And so I told you why. It wasn't the last video, it might have been the video before that. So I told you why we decided to take a scouting trip to South Africa. I told you why we took our kids, that whole shebang. Now I'm going to tell you how we planned it. When it comes to planning a scouting trip, it is a lot of planning, okay? It's a lot. It's a lot of work. Of course, planning for, like, if you're a single traveler versus planning for a family of 4 or 5 or 3, 4 or 5, it's different. The cost is going to be different. The things that you're doing, your schedule, your itinerary, but it really depends on who you are. And it depends on what your goal is. But you have to go with a purpose. You absolutely cannot just go and be like, oh, we're just going to figure it out. Not quite. Sure, have others done that? Absolutely. It may have worked out for them. Was it ideal? No. Is it advisable? No. So my advice would be, if you are thinking, and not just South Africa, but whatever country, you definitely want to be intentional and be very specific. Be flexible enough with your itinerary, but do have one. Don't just fly by the seat of your pants. You know, have an idea of what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how many days you're going to spend doing X. And of course, things will change, right? You may meet or connect with some people and get together with them, and everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen, the way God designs. But you still have to have a plan. Yes, you have to plan. So I'm going to tell you how we planned our 30-day family scouting trip to the beautiful South Africa. And I will tell you that, like, planning a trip to another country is one thing. Planning a trip to see if you might live there is something completely different. Yeah, completely different. And so you got to remember, you're not just choosing hotels and tourist attractions. You're trying to understand what life would actually feel like there. And the way in which you plan that kind of trip changes everything. You know, and so today I'm walking you through exactly how we planned our 30-day scouting trip to South Africa. It may look completely different for you, right? And your plan doesn't have to look like ours by any means. Just do have one. Do have one. So in the first video in this series, I can't say the last video because I think I will have posted 1 or 2 before I get this second one out. But in the first video of this series, we talked about why our family decided to spend a month in South Africa, exploring life there, you know. But today we are going to talk about the strategy. Strategy wins games. Strategy saves lives. Okay. So because we didn't want this to feel like a vacation, now of course we did have vacay moments, of course, but we didn't want it to feel so much like a vacation. We wanted to study life in South Africa, experience life in South Africa. And so I'll break it down into steps. So step number 1, choose one home base. Okay, choose one home base. I didn't say you can't spend time in other places, but choose one home base. So one of the biggest decisions we made was choosing one primary city. And for us, that was Johannesburg. Now, South Africa has several incredible cities. You've got Cape Town, you've got Durban, you've got Pretoria, which isn't far from Johannesburg, you know, but if you move around too much, you stay in tourist mode. And so we wanted to experience the rhythm of daily life. And so we chose one home base and explored it deeply. Okay. And we loved it. We didn't do any driving. But we did have drivers, and we also thoroughly used Uber. And so going through the different neighborhoods, visiting the estates, going to the grocery stores, meeting families, expat families, meeting South African families, that gave us a much more realistic picture of life on the continent and life more specifically in Josie. That's step one. Choose one home base. Step two is live in a residential area, right? So another decision that made a huge difference was where we stayed. Instead of staying in a hotel the entire time, we stayed in a residential area. We chose Parkhurst. Parkhurst is very much so, it's a walkable neighborhood. We were, like 3 blocks away from 4th Ave, where all the shops, your eateries, your restaurants, all the things were there. So it was wonderful. So we stayed in a residential area, and this mattered because we got to see things like families walking and security structures and neighborhood rhythms. Now, we saw people like walking their dogs and stuff like that. We didn't see a lot of kids in Parkhurst, but as we did our visits and our real estate tours to the estates, in the estates, we saw kids riding their bikes, families walking, neighborhood rhythms, all the things. And so those everyday moments told us much more about life than any travel guide ever could, So, but the most important thing we planned wasn't housing, believe it or not. The most important thing was people. Yes, people. So community. If you're exploring life in another country, the most important thing you can do is connect with people who actually live there. Okay. Ta-da. Yes. So before we even got on the plane, we started reaching out to YouTubers we'd been watching. We've been studying Facebook groups that were specific for that country. People who had already relocated, the expats that were living there, all the things, because you want a well-rounded picture. Even still, we'd already begun to research the visas. We'd already, we'd done a ton of research, and so by doing that, those conversations gave us insights that Google could never provide, right? They're boots on the ground, they're there. And when we arrived, those connections helped us to see South Africa through real relationships, not just observations. So community, super important. And then the next thing outside of that, you do want to schedule your real estate tours. Now, we started reaching out to people, and by people, I mean like the real estate agents, and it works a little differently in South Africa. So I will tell you, the method we used was we went on Property 24. When we found something we liked, we would heart it. We had a short list. And then the closer it got to our trip, because we wanted to scout, we wanted to see the different homes, we wanted to see the different estates so that we would have a better idea of what we needed, a picture to refer back to, so that when when it's time to move, then we're not going blind, And then we have friends there who will be our eyes so that we can have another FaceTime eye so you can see in real time, because sometimes pictures are interesting. That's just real estate, y'all. Real estate, that's just real estate. So at any rate, we made a plan to look at different places. What we did was we would go on to Property 24. We found a place, we really liked it. Of course, check budget, location, even though before you get there, you're really not going to understand location. Once you get there and you're there for a little while, then you'll begin to understand location and where things are located. It'll make more sense to you. Before you get there, you're really not going to get it. Even though Property 24, we studied that map up and down and all around. And yes, it provided some reference, but honestly, you don't really get it until you're there and you're traveling and you're like, oh, okay, I see, right? So, I keep going back to this topic. Sorry, I'm like squirrel. So sorry, but you go on Property 24, you reach out. I used WhatsApp because that's going to be a primary method of communicating, especially if you're coming from the States or you're coming from another country. WhatsApp is going to be cheaper. So yeah, download WhatsApp, use that. And so I would reach out to them. I'd include the link. I do a quick intro. Listen, we're planning on coming. We're planning on coming. We do want to look at some homes. We would love to take a look at this one if it's still available when we get there, yada, yada, yada. And I told them what we were looking for in the budget. And what that did is when they know what you're looking for, they know the budget, even if that home sells or that home is rented out, then they know what's in queue or what's in their surplus or what's in their stock. And so they'll be like, oh, but I want to show you this one because this fits your parameters. So that's what I did. And it worked really, really well. Some really nice real estate agents. You may see on Property 24, you may see multiple homes under different agents. Again, real estate works differently there. So you can have multiple agents representing one home. It's interesting. It's not my jam. Real estate is not my jam. So I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm just going to say, don't assume coming from the States that it's going to operate the same. It doesn't, not quite. So you definitely just kind of do some research, go into it with open eyes. One of my great friends, she's amazing. She and her husband, they just started their relocation and integration program. I will link it below. I just had a brain fart. But she's a better person who can answer questions regarding the real estate portion and what that looks like. So yeah, but you do want to schedule your real estate tours. And she actually just messaged me. So schedule your real estate tours. So another key part of our scouting trip was exploring the real estate, exploring the neighborhoods, because that's the whole point of why you make the trip. So you can see if it's somewhere that resonates with you. And so it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're buying immediately, because we're not. But housing tells you a lot about how people live. And so we toured the different estates. We toured the different areas, the different home styles, looked at various home styles. We already kind of knew what we were looking for, knew what we needed, knew what would fit our family. But we looked anyway. Did we get to see all of the things? No, no, we didn't. But we did see some, but either way, each one gave us a better sense of what family life could look like there in Johannesburg. So definitely schedule your real estate tours. We did some of it, bless you, we did some of it on our own with Uber, but we actually, for the first 3 days, I think, that we did real estate tours, and we went with Herbie Man Tour Consultants. They are affordable, a wealth of knowledge. Oh my goodness. Also use him if you're going to do Soweto tour. Yes, absolutely. They're amazing. They are absolutely amazing. I'll also link their information below too. Tell them Nicole sent you. But we used their services and they transported all 5 of us. And we went from house to house to house. And we did try to schedule and arrange things where they would be in the same area. So we're not going from here all the way across and then all the way back in the same day. If you don't know, though, if we didn't know, we would just ask them. Okay, so these are the addresses. how should we structure it? And that worked. That worked. So that's something I would definitely recommend. Schedule with, even if you don't use them, but you can use someone, especially if you're brand new to the continent and you're brand new to the country. You won't know. So you can certainly Uber, you can certainly rent a car and drive. We met friends over there and they were like, yeah, when we came, we just rented a car and drove around and that's how we learned. I was like, that is great. We didn't have the bandwidth to do that. We had, between the 6-year-old, the 3-year-old, my mom, it was a lot happening, a lot of moving parts. So obviously when we go back, we'll do it. But at any rate, so yes, I will link the information, but definitely at least for like the first day or so, for the first day or so, allow someone to drive you around so you can get acclimated, because you're not really going to get acclimated in a day. You will likely not really get acclimated in a week. You won't, unless you're just really, really good at directions. But most times it'll take like 2 weeks. Yeah. By the second week, we were like, okay, all right. By the third week, we were settling in and we didn't want to leave. We were like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. But we had to. So definitely schedule your real estate tours. We don't plan on buying immediately. We plan on renting first. And so exploring all the different options, looking at apartments, looking at a townhome, looking at or cluster home, town or cluster, looking at your standalone home, your estate homes, estate living versus neighborhood, neighborhood not Fourth Avenue, but neighborhood like Park Avenue, which is walkable and near shops and shopping and all the things, versus more suburban. And I will tell you that once you go, you'll know when you find what works for you. You'll know because it'll feel like home. And because we toured a number of different things, and when we got to the one we loved, we were like, oh, this feels like home. This feels like home. It's like it's a mix of familiar with new, with it feels nice, right? And it feels like you. So when you know. So don't get wrapped up into the we're not purchasing or whatever. Real estate tours, you can look at properties that are for sale. You can look at properties for rent. You never know how God is going to move in your life. So listen, we looked at both. We looked at both so we could get a handle on things and just know. But it did provide some insight. And yeah, so schedule real estate tours. Step 5, leave room for life to happen. That part. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when planning in a trip like this is that over planning, right? And we intentionally left open space in our schedules. My husband was still working at the time, so most of the time we would make it back to our Airbnb by like 3, and that would, of course, kind of give us a chance to kind of get settled, get the kids cleaned up, settled, ready for bed or whatever. What I will say is leaving open space, because, when we made our connections, we also scheduled with those connections. But then there were beautiful moments that, God made happen, because I know it was him, where you build relationships and then they're like, hey, why don't you come over? Da, 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 da. Okay, great. And so there was like a family fun day happening in one of the estates, had a ball. And then the other, a beautiful couple, expats, they're wonderful. And they had like a family gathering, if you will. And it was just so nice. I'm going to post about those. I have so much stuff to share. I just haven't had a chance to, but it was nice. Hey, bud. What you got? Well, mommy's recording. What you need?
Go.
What, huh?
I want go.
You do? I like it too. It's a very cool show. But wait. Mommy's recording.
I like fly away.
You fly away.
Fly away. Look, it's spinning.
Oh, okay.
Spin around and around.
And around and around.
Fly.
And fly.
Fly. The hook has to.
Okay.
This is a fly.
Okay. Okay. Let mommy finish recording. Okay, buddy? Here, go ahead and take it in there, and I'll be in there in a minute, okay? Thank you, buddy. Go ahead. Love you. Okay, I'm back. My 3-year-old. He had to come have a dance party with me. Okay. All right, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, so you want to leave room for life to happen. Don't overplan because there'll be some things that will come up, but be intentional with your time, because our intentionality was allowed us to reach out to some of the expats there, reach out to people. They have those experiences that we didn't have before arriving, you know? And so that was nice. But that space allowed us to accept those invitations, explore the neighborhoods and the neighborhood events, visit cultural experiences, meet new people, you know, and sometimes the most meaningful moments of travel happen in the spaces in which you didn't plan. And that's definitely the case for us. Oh, it was just, it was wonderful. Blessed is an understatement. So you definitely want to leave some room, give yourself some breathing room, right? Schedule the things you need to schedule. And then we just knew that the majority of our time would be spent really kind of immersing ourselves in the culture, in the, you know, getting acclimated to the area, to the country, to the continent. And also, we did want to, you know, experience some things while we were there, of course. So, you know, I wasn't sure about the safari because I knew I had the littles, and I was like, I don't know about that. I want to, so I'll do it when I come back. But we ended up choosing, you know, the elephant sanctuary. I knew I wanted to do Lesedi Village and then the fashion experience. And so if you all, you know, are curious as to what those experiences were like, listen, click the videos. I posted videos about them. We had a ball. It was wonderful. And we did use Herbie Band tour consultants for 2 of them. So for Soweto, for Elephant Sanctuary, Lesedi Village, we used their services to travel to those areas because they're a little further out. And we didn't know where we were going, so we needed someone to guide us. So again, I will drop their information below because they are A1, top notch. Okay, so with that being said, those are really the major things. That's the how we planned it. You know, planning this 30-day trip wasn't about creating the perfect itinerary. That doesn't exist. If you've ever traveled, you know that things will happen. If you've traveled with kids, you absolutely know that things will happen. But it was about creating opportunities to experience real life. And the things we discovered during this month surprised us in ways we never expected. We spent 3 weeks in Johannesburg and then 1 week in Cape Town. And we loved every bit of it. Every bit of it. And so in the next episode in this series, because y'all know I'm good for dropping another video in between. But in the next episode in this series, this is our planning the scouting journey. This is a series, planning our 30-day scouting journey. We're going to talk about something a lot of people are curious about. Number 1 question. You know what that question is. I'm sure you do. well, how much did it cost you? And so I'm going to tell you, I'll do a breakdown. I still have to I have to tally up all my numbers to give a round breakdown of kind of like everything we did. But what did this 30-day trip to South Africa actually cost? So we're going to break it down. I'm going to give you all the deets because I want you to know. And if you're planning something like this, I do want you to go into it with eyes open. Definitely not a haphazard trip. I mean, of course, if you got it like that and you can just do it on a whim, do it on a whim. But we're a family of 4, 5. We had to plan because it was a lot of moving parts. So, but even with that being said, the reality of what it cost might surprise you. It might surprise you. Just because I think the assumption, anytime you say like 30 days, people are like, oh. I'm like, wait, hold on. But they miss the fact that, you save, you plan, this isn't something you just pull out your butt one day and you're like, yeah, so I just drop this real quick. Some people can drop it. Bless. I'm going to be one of those people one day. My husband and I, we're going to be one of those people one day. Right now, that's not it though. Okay. The reality of it is we have to save. Okay. We have to save and plan. And so the reality of what it cost might surprise you. It might be in line with what you're thinking. But if you're enjoying this series and all my rants, as I digress, because sometimes I digress often, I do get back on track though. Thank God for the outline. But if you're enjoying the series, make sure you subscribe. Sorry, get a cramp in my leg. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow the rest of the journey. Oh Lord, sorry, my camera's falling. Yikes. Okay. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow the rest of the journey as we explore South Africa as a family. And we are a multi-generational family, which I think made the trip so much more special. So we had, myself, my husband, our 2 littles, and my mom. And you get more than one perspective. And so I actually did a video. I haven't posted it yet, but I've done a video, completed it. I'm still trying to do my edits, but a video where I interviewed her. And so you get to hear the perspective of someone who's not our age. And I think that matters because generationally, it's different. They are looking through a different set of lenses with a different set of experiences. And so I'm going to post that one. I think I might post it after I post this one, but I'll keep y'all posted. Y'all see that? Anyway, okay, I digress. All right, so that is all. So thank y'all so much for tuning in and for listening to all my things. Listen, don't forget the steps. If you forget, go back and listen to this video, y'all. I'm trying to give you everything, okay? But remember, I don't even know what my steps were. Hold on. Yes, so step 1, choose a home base. Step 2, live in a residential area, if at all possible. Hotels are great. However, they're not going to give you that living feeling, that living experience. Step 3, community. Step 4, definitely schedule some real estate tours so you can see all the different things. You can venture out on your own. Absolutely. They do drive. I didn't say this. They do drive on the left side of the road. And the steering wheel is on the right side of the car. Wait, I said that wrong. No, I didn't. Whatever it is, they drive the steering wheel and they drive on the steering wheel is opposite and they drive on the opposite side of the road that we drive in the U.S. So you do want to keep that in mind. And again, if you can get someone who can take you around to acclimate you first, at least for the first couple times, then that is ideal because trying to navigate it on your own, you can do it, but it's just easier to do it like once you understand where you are, once you're comfortable, you get the hang of things. So scheduling your real estate tour. And then step 5, leave room for life to happen. Don't jam pack your schedule back to back to back to back, or jam pack it all day from like sun up to sundown. So definitely leave room for life to happen and take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're even up to the night before you leave, especially if you're traveling with littles, you're going to feel like, oh crap, I could have done a whole lot more planning. What happened? And I will tell you, don't, because it'll be okay. I promise you, it'll be okay. We left the house on our way to the airport, and we left the stroller. We were 10 minutes out from the airport. The airport is an hour away from our home, mind you. We were 10 minutes out and had to turn around, come back, get the stroller, and go back. A whole whopping additional amount of money. But, we did it. It's okay. So things are going to happen, and you may not have everything. You may not remember all the things. It'll be okay. You'll be okay. So take a deep breath. Write out your steps, at least steps 1 through 5, and kind of write some notes about what you want, what your goals are. And then, even if you don't know, remember the whole thing is a learning journey, but you want to have something before you go. And then once you get there, people are so warm and so welcoming. They will help you. They're like, oh, you do this, this, and this. Oh, this is here. So they'll help you. So yeah, that is all. I'm going to stop rambling now, but love and blessings, and I will talk to you soon. See you next time. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow, all the things. And if you're looking or thinking about relocating internationally, do drop in the comments. I'd love to know, where are you going? What are you thinking about? Like, what is your biggest fear? What's stopping you? What's motivating you? Yeah. So anyway, let me get off this camera. All right. Love y'all with the love of Jesus, and I will see you next time. Love and blessings. Toodles.